Corey Langsley says, what are we going to do when you get the well-deserved rock star status since you're hitting the stage after Ted Cruz and Rush Limbaugh is playing you on the most listened radio show? You will get famous and we won't have as much of your greatness or as often. Not true, Corey. I have to say that lately, in the last couple months, the response to the speaking events I've certainly since January, certainly since the speech I did back in November, right after the Romney loss, the David Horowitz thing, which really changed my life. My reception has been really getting better and better and better. The AFP thing, I realized, was the first time I've really gotten like sustained entrance applause. I'm used to getting exit applause. I know that's an obnoxious thing to say, and I don't mean it to sound obnoxious. It's just a fact. I go out there. I've gotten good at this public speaking thing, and I expect to go out of there with exit applause, because if I didn't, I'm not doing my job, and I take my job very seriously, and I take my obligation to the people that pay me good money very seriously. So if people are not on their feet when I leave, I have failed, and I have stolen their money. So I take that very seriously, and I expect that. I expect exit applause. If I don't get it, I've ripped somebody off. But entrance applause is a different animal. And I started getting that. Certainly at the AFP event I got it. And it's really kind of a shocking thing to walk out to that kind of a reaction. And that's a sign that your message is getting out there. It's a sign that people are applauding the last thing you did, not the fact that you're about to start. They're applauding the last thing they saw you do. It's very, very, very flattering and very gratifying, and keeps me up in the game. But I'm not going anywhere. On the contrary, as we've said, teasing this thing out, we're about to really open this thing up and really try and make a difference in terms of the pop culture. So I get more famous every time I go out there, and I still feel like as long as I'm doing a public event, if there is anybody in the room who wants to talk to me, I will talk to them. There's not a picture I've ever turned down that I unless I was literally had an obligation. I'll be there till the last picture. And I'll be there talking to the last person, because it's your support that gives me this fabulous, astonishing lifestyle. It's not a favor I do you by being there till everybody's done. It's not a favor. I'm not doing you a favor. It's not like, gee, what a swell guy. He stayed, took pictures with everybody. This is what I do. I am a servant of not only of my audience. That sounds a little lofty, but like any other person in business who understands the essence of business as a transaction, as a voluntary transaction, I respect and admire the people I do business with, and when they give me dollars in exchange for whatever I give them back in the commentary or whatever it may be, I want to make sure they're satisfied. Not just because I'd like their business in the future, although I would. I want to make sure they're satisfied because I have a moral obligation to myself. I want to be able to go home and face myself and say that I gave people as much as I possibly could, and that I was a good value, that the money they spent to bring me out there was money well spent. And frankly, if I can't do that, I can't face myself. I don't want to be the kind of guy that, the rubes and I got their money. I have to live with myself. I have to be able to face myself. I have to be able to say to myself, you're taking their money, you better provide something valuable in return. And I try very hard to do that. So I'm not going anywhere, Corey. On the contrary, as I said, I want to really open this up, and I want to really start doing as much good as we possibly can. Now, we had tried to run a movie company and do political commentary on the back of it. And what I think we're finding is that we can run a political commentary company and do movies on the back of that. Now, that may not sound like a big difference to you, but it's an enormously important difference, really, in terms of the business. And so I mentioned it earlier, if you go to billwhittle.com, you'll see a sign-up sheet for what's going to be coming in the middle of September. And it is going to be really, I'd like to think a shocking improvement in terms of what you get, not only from me, because the main thing that this sort of change and reboot and major effort on our part really is the ability to magnify for the first time my muscle power mechanically. And what I mean by that is, for the first time ever, because of your kindness and your support all across the board at PJTV membership, Declaration Entertainment, so on and so forth, for the first time I've had the ability to write checks. And the ability to write checks means that I can get other people in harness, in the right kind of harness. I can get other people in harness, and we can do more work than I could do by myself. When I say work, we could do more good than I can do by myself. And it takes money to hire people. The more people of quality that I hire, the more I can do upper level work in terms of the commentary and in terms of producing other people, and the less time I have to spend doing things like 14 hours of editing on a firewall. I did it for years because I had to, because we didn't have any extra resources, and now we have a little bit. And it occurred to me that if we could really open up the amount of resources, we could magnify dramatically the amount of good we could do. If I didn't think it was doing more good, I wouldn't do it. And if I thought it was just to enrich me more, I'd think about it, because I've been underpaid for a long part of my life. But the fact of the matter is, as we've been trying to explain here, the question about the internship and so on, this is an exchange. So if we're going to talk about opening up additional revenues and deploying them, then you damn well better get additional product, because if you don't, then you're getting ripped off. And I'm not in the mood to rip anybody off. I want to, as I say, I want to live with myself. So I think that's really, in a nutshell, what it is we're going to be trying to do. Is we're going to basically come back to you guys and say, here's the plan for us to do more. We tried some other things, some of which worked, some of which didn't, and we want to do more. And if you think this is worthy, then we could use your help. And if you don't, you're going to get the stuff for free anyway, because it's important. It's nice to be able to live in a world where we're able to produce this stuff for free and keep it free, and it will be free. There's nothing. There may be a few things that we'll do that are special, but by and large, it's going to be able to do more stuff for free, and we'll be fine. We're going to be just fine. So this brings me to my last question for the night, which is